Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. What a beautiful, beautiful game. Absolutely incredible game. This is in the style of Mikhail Tal. Us older guys remember Tal, the Russian that just was a combination and sacrifice genius. It's between Wesley So as White, formerly from the Philippines, now playing for the U.S., and Levin Aronian, one of the most likable guys in the chess world from Armenia, top world class player for years and years. What a beautiful game Levin played. I know it gives away what happened, but I'll tell you, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I do want to mention there's a really nice interview at the end of this video with Levin, and he's a funny guy too, so you'll get a lot out of it. So let's get started. Going to be a Nimzo Indian, So is White, Aronian is Black. What a beautiful game this is. It starts out pretty much normal, Nimzo Indian stuff. Castles e4, d6, knight comes up. Now according to the computer, that's the last book move. I don't know how to play the Nimzo, I'm not that adept at it, but looks like a pretty good opening actually against d4. a6, pawns comes up. That way, as you can see, pawn takes, can't retake because the rook is hanging. Bishop a5, he backs up. He's determined to play b5. Bishop d2, pawn takes, and c pawn takes. You wouldn't want to take with a knight and take here. Leaves this file open. It's just awkward. C takes was the right move. He wants to keep that knight. Knight to h5. Interesting choice there. Develop the bishop to d7 was the computer's choice, but that's a good one too. Now you're getting ideas like f5. Open up the position pretty much like, I'll call it King's Indian style, when this knight here is back here and you want to open it up here. g3. Now that you do that. Queen to c1 is the computer's choice, and then king f2, believe it or not, is the second choice of the computer, oddly enough. g3. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And you're going to see that's going to cause a huge problem for White, moving the f and g pawns before he castles. Knight to d7. Bishop g2. b5. Here comes the assault. What to do, what to do? Queen to c2 is still a choice of the computer, and I agree. Wesley should get castled here pretty quick. Instead, I think he's goofing around. I think this g4 was not a good move at all. Move the g pawn twice, number one, and the f pawn. And it's the pawns in front of your king anyway. I don't know what Wesley was thinking. He's a world-class player. Actually, he's a much better player than that. b4. Kick the knight. The knight's going to go back to b1. Now, how pitiful is that? Now, we're on move 14. And Black's almost a full pawn and score. What a dismal position. Dismal. I mean, look at it. We got all the pawns up. This is undeveloped. These rooks are getting close to being connected. It's not castled. What a horrendous position already for Wesley, and I'm really surprised that he got in this jam. Queen checks. King moves. Now, believe it or not, the computer's got it at basically even. Computer likes f5, knight on h to f6, you know, all that good stuff. But he decides to go knight to e5 instead. Now, this is one of those things where I call Tal-like, because if you go through Tal's games with a computer, you see a lot of his sacrifices were unfounded. And this is similar. This is so complicated for White. It is so easy to miscue. The computer likes pawn takes h5, pawn takes the knight, followed by f5. But he tried to get cute. He went bishop e1. And just like that, it's an almost 2-point advantage for Black, believe it or not. Now let's see why. Say he took the knight. F5. Now bishop E1. Now the queen has to move. And the advantage is pretty much gone now. Even though once the queen moves, you go F4. So we'll say queen to F6. F4. Now if pawn takes, you're okay. This bishop can take. This knight's guarding this pawn. Your king's got some protection. Now queen to F6. Now the pawn takes, but it's much different now. Pawn takes. What's he going to do? I mean, this is miserable for white. Absolutely miserable. And don't forget, down the road, we got bishop discovery here. We got this pawn coming down. This bishop is yet to get in the game. Bishop F2 is probably his only choice. He's got to block the file. Now, this is where I think Levin miscues. I think he should have played queen takes B2. Just looks crushing. Absolutely crushing. But he didn't. He played bishop G4. And I'm really surprised at. Now, let's backtrack here a minute. White's up a piece for a pawn. And even with a bad move like that, or not as good move, black is still a half a point ahead. Big played queen takes B2 instead. After bishop takes, queen takes, knight to G2. And I think it still sucks, don't get me wrong, for white, but that's just overwhelming. There's no way white can survive that. But after bishop G4, knight to D2 was a saving move. That probably would have saved the draw. But instead, this is why chess is so psychological. Wesley So's a world-class player. He's in the top 10 in the world. Levin Aronian-Rd.4 a world-class player. All these guys are. It's the strongest tournament, I think, ever. I think they said the average rating was over 2,800. Anyway, psychologically, you're feeling the pressure. And you got to remember, Wesley is the wild card pick in this tournament. There's 9 players that'll play all 3 rounds of the Grand Chess Tour. Wesley is the wild card pick for this tournament only. So this is the only tournament he's going to get to play in the Grand Chess Tour. So if he does well, he can make a substantial amount of money. So the pressure's on. He goes queen to C1. And that's the beginning of the end. Knight to D2. Then after knight to E5, queen to B3 was his only way to survive. I think he might have survived that. But after queen to C1, knight goes to D4. And here it comes. Here it comes. Knight takes. Pawn takes. Bishop can't take, of course. E5. Try to stir things up. Try to get some space. Pawn takes. And it's just, look at this position. It's just miserable for white. Just miserable. Knight to D2 finally. I think he's going to get the knight to E4 to try to stave off the attack. But it comes hitting the queen. Queen's got to move. And now B3. Wow. Absolutely wild. He's got to take it. Bishop B6. A5. Bishop comes back. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Queen, king finally moves. Bishop F5, hitting the queen. Bishop E4. It's doomed. Should have probably played queen E1 instead. Then after rook to C2, knight to D2. It still sucks, but after bishop E4 and move 27, queen checks, king F1, queen F4. Almost a over a 6 point advantage now for black. And that's where Wesley So finally throws in the towel on move 28. To give you an idea, after bishop takes, now comes D3. Holy crap. Great, great, beautiful game. That one miscue by Aronian at bishop to G4, but he had the right idea and he went for it. And just want to remind you, there's going to be a short interview with 11 Aronian after this from Reese Ashley, and I'll tell you, it's pretty funny. 11's a pretty funny guy. I guess Yasser Sarawan, one of the commentators, told Jennifer Shahadi that if 11 found a move in the game, he would kneel at his feet and light incense. So that's what they're talking about later in the interview. It's really funny. Anyway, folks, that's the game from round 4. Absolutely no question about it. All the other games were drawn, even though they were good games too. This is the one that stood out. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Remember is burn incense at his feet. That's the precise word you said, yes, at his feet. So that's what we all want to see. Levon, make sure you get film of that for us, please, as you get Yasser singing 80s songs, pop 80s songs to you. I think girls just want to have fun was his choice. He's going to have to memorize. Well, we are having a good time, and I imagine you were too when you were playing this game. It was really just a crushing effort.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I wasn't sure if the sacrifice is any good, but I just felt, since I played the novelty of my friend Peter Lecco, this bishop a5, I thought Peter would be upset if I didn't take advantage of my preparation.
This novelty was played by him in another game, or?
I don't think he played it ever, but he showed it to me.
Nice friend.
Yeah. I don't remember what black should do against bishop d2, but I felt that what I did was kind of logical.
Well, you had a tremendous position, and the engines were just saying, good for black, good for black, good for black. I mean, white's pieces were reshuffling on the back rank a la Fischer random.
Sure.
So
sure.
It just seemed like you should have this great attack. Was there any point you thought he could defend his position anyway? It just looked overwhelming.
Yeah, I thought bishop e1. I mean, I didn't like bishop e1, but maybe if he takes the piece, then my attack is too strong. I mean, you can't really calculate anything there with black. You just believe it. Yeah, so that's what I did.
So let's look at a couple of moves. Instead, he played the move bishop to e1. There are a couple of questions I have.
I was actually, sorry to interrupt you, I was actually looking at knight g3 here. I thought that was maybe an interesting attempt.
Well, the engine refuted it with knight takes g4.
That's what I was planning to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this might be a very good move.
Right. Yeah. Knight g4 and takes, and then f5 coming.
Yeah, that's what I felt I would do.
Yeah, that was apparently quite crushing. So you were right there. So let's go back to the variation. And so here he played the move bishop to e1. You dropped back. He took, and then you wonked on this square, and then bishop f2. And now you play bishop to g4. And the engine actually right here gave you the defense knight to d2 instead of this move. Knight to d2.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that one. Knight d4, e5?
Exactly.
Wow.
e5, a completely wild line. And
wow.
Here...
And if I play queen f5, bishop e4, queen takes h5?
I think here...
Oh, wait, sorry.
Queen f5, knight takes d4.
Yeah. Sorry. That's
that was a challenge. So e5, you did miss this knight d2 idea, as did he.
Ah, yeah, yes. Actually, I kind of thought that once the knight is on d4, then my pawns will roll. But maybe it's not so easy. Yeah? Queen h6?
In fact, the engines say that you're better in all these lines anyway. So
yeah, it feels that.
Yeah, it's not that anything's worse for you. I was just wondering if you saw it. But the engines did say that you're definitely still better, and you're the one with the play. It's just not as ugly as the other lines. So he did have this potential resource. But when he played this move, queen c1, this was the move after queen c1 where Yasser said that he would burn incense at your feet if you found knight to d4.
But what is there to find?
Well,
it's the most obvious move.
We thought the most obvious move was actually knight to e5.
Right, I thought about it.
Instead of knight to d4. Knight to d4 trades off this piece, but knight to and heads to d3 with all kinds of tactics. But you played knight d4 and allowed this piece to be chopped off.
Yeah,
you felt it was a simple move.
Yeah, once I saw, I mean, because I have to activate my rooks to mate the kings. Once I felt that the position opens up, I thought he would play knight d2, rook c8, queen b1.
Wait, after knight d4?
Although after knight d2 I would probably go d3 here. Probably d3 was the right move. That's what I felt during the game. And then, I mean, somehow I don't feel White can defend this. I just he has to play King G1, Rook AC8, then
The pieces just flood.
yeah, the B2 pawn is mine. The Rook is entering, so.
So this was just casual for you, like a walk in the park. You felt the attack was just there. I was surprised by a couple of your quick decisions. But tell me, did you see one line here after knight takes, pawn takes? Let's just go with the game E5,
Yeah.
knight D2, rook C8. And in this position, you played B3, which just was a beautiful move, deflecting
Thanks.
the knight from the center of the board. Knight takes, bishop B6, and now he played A5, and you dropped back. Did you consider rook C2 here?
Yeah, I didn't like to give him a chance. Queen C2, D3, AB.
Yes,
I really
exactly.
didn't want to give him this chance. Because I don't know, maybe I'm still better, but.
You are, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yes, this I just thought was an incredible decision on your part, that you saw this line, but you opted for the other one, which doesn't just win material
I'm not
immediately,
a
but
really
it's...
Queen's person. I like the pieces.
You're not
so.
a Queen's person?
When it comes to chess, not really. And
Wow.
I saw that I can push the pawns. You know,
Right.
After you see bishop f5, e4 coming, I mean, you won't even think of the queen. So I thought,
We've got a lot of wisdom that has been said today for some reason. All the players with these great quotes, and now yours is, you're not a Queen's person. That's
well, I hope
that's a
you
new
guys.
one.
I hope you guys will not speculate on that one too much. Because I have a great alibi.
Okay, we won't think any other thoughts on that one. Well, let's take a look at the board again, if we may bring up that position. And this, you just must have been salivating seeing this position. Oh, now you played, after he played bishop e4, you played this beautiful maneuver.
I can play d3. D3
D3
wins
of
as
course
well.
wins, yes. That was a beautiful move. You played, you surprised us. We saw D3 was winning, like you didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden, instead you played queen G5 check. And queen F4, and of course if he took on F5, which he resigned in this position, now finally D3 comes with monstrous effect. How many times do you get to win scintillating attacking games with the black pieces against this caliber of opponent?
Well, only when your opponents forget to develop their pieces. That's when you get the chance. Otherwise, most of the players, including Wesley, would never allow this. It's just that I think I caught him by surprise, and then I thought he was planning, actually on move 14, I thought he was planning to take G take H, and White is slightly worse. But yeah, on move number 14.
Oh, way back at the novelty,
Yeah,
you mean? So we know what you mean.
Yeah, somewhere here. I thought it was kind of interesting position. So GH, BC, no, not knight B1. G takes the knight. Yeah, BC and B takes C. Yeah, I thought this is what he wants to do. I was very happy with my position. Queen H4, F5, knight to E5. But knight B1 is a bit too provocative. That's what I felt.
So this whole year, or this past year, calendar year, you haven't been playing your greatest chess. You dropped, was it 60 rating points? Which is kind of an amazing thing to do at this level. Everybody's wondering, where has Levon been? And now we see Levon is back. And now you're tied for first place in the Sinquefield Cup. This is not just any old chess tournament. It's superstars everywhere. What have you done to get it right? I mean, at the press conference you said America is the land of opportunity, but I'm sure you said that tongue-in-cheek. What have you done to bring the old Levon that we know, #2 player in the world, 28-35?
Well, I guess it's difficult to explain, but mainly I can say that we had a talk with Ariane, and she told me, well, this cannot continue. So it works.
Ladies say some things, huh?
When a lady tells something, you have to listen. You know what to do.
That has always been wise words. Truer words have never been spoken, but you're not the first one to have said it. So you follow a long line of kept men. Well, fantastic play. Congratulations on your game today, and
Thank you.
Keep it up. We enjoyed it.
I'll try.
Levon Aronian, one of the most likable players on the chess circuit you'll find anywhere in the world. playing.
Like he is a Queens person, based on that last quote.
Yes,
listen to Aronian.
He said, don't go too deeply into that. I have a question for Levon. Levon, you come to the event and you tell that you've been studying Petrosian's games. So very nice. We expect some exchange, sacrifices, nice strategical play. But then you play like Tal. So how is it that you study Petrosian's games and then you play like Tal today?
Yeah, I guess I didn't study too well. That's the explanation. But generally, I study many players. I think today maybe I will exaggerate my effort, but I would say I played in style of Stein, Leonid Stein, to go for it. So
let me ask you, since Yasser opened his mouth, I know you're not a guy who lets people off the hook. What are you going to do with Yasser and this incense, this incense at your feet business? Are you going to take advantage of him saying something on the air, making such a provocative statement?
Well, I'll tell you a story. One time, I think Barev said that if I win a game, a certain position, he's going to shine my shoes, which he did. So you can guess what is to follow.
Oh, we got to get pictures of that. Don't do it without me, please. I want to see that happen.
Not a problem.
All right.
Happening.
Now back to you, Jen and Yas.
I'm just glad I didn't say I'll eat my hat. I mean, it's going to be a bad week. It's going to be a bad week, Jen. I see it now. My horoscope is not looking good.
Just keep making bets because you lost this one, so you'll probably win the next one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Thank
how
you.